Welcome back, my friends, all around this world. Welcome to my podcast. You know, the cool thing about this is that as I'm recording these episodes, I'm in a certain space of time. For me, right now, it is February. I'm recording episodes in the year of 2017. But you may be listening to this, who knows, maybe 2 years from now. And who knows where I am then? The magic of time. So I'm actually going to talk about time today. A small aspect of time. Your daily time. And I want to start out with a quote by a woman who I came across the other day. She was a former fashion model in Paris who completely changed her life because she was searching for more meaning and purpose. Her name is Anna Gatman, and the quote goes as follows. People have an intrinsic need to lead meaningful, purposeful lives and contribute to making our world a better place. Neglecting this need has created a spiritual hunger in our culture, a great void needing to be filled. And I love this quote for the simple reason that it highlights what I believe is our reality today. And I don't have data to back this up. I didn't do research on this, but I can see, I can feel, and I can hear that people are searching more than ever. And maybe this is just a ping pong effect, as I call it. Information has never in the history of this planet been so accessible as it is today. Having this information and knowing that there is even more, searching has become part of life. I see it when I search for information on the internet. 10 years ago, there were about 2 to 3 cooking websites I looked at regularly for healthy and creative recipe ideas, and I would even print out a weekly recipe for me to cook. Today there are probably thousands. A search for any recipe will show you pages and pages of results, just all slightly different. It's that way with anything you may want to know, including the quest for more meaning. There are what seems to be an infinite number of articles, pictures, posts, videos available. And even if you decided to buy a book, you don't have to browse the selection at your local store anymore and settle for what they may have on the shelf that day. You can search thousands of books online, read reviews, listen to the author speak on TED or on a podcast before you make a purchase. Information is instant, but filtering through it has become more laborious. It reminds me when I first came to the US and I was blown away by the size of the supermarkets and then the selection available, especially on items that I didn't think could be significantly distinguished, such as toilet paper or toothbrushes. Even when you know what you want, when the options increase, so does your doubt about your selection. But as someone who grew up in a country with extremely limited options, I will always appreciate having more. And so the abundance of all this information we have access to is good. In fact, it's fascinating to see what is happening. People are coming out. They want to know more, feel more, and experience more. What did people who felt alone do before Meetup? I wonder. How long did it take to find an apartment for rent? Not just any, but the best one available. And how did we answer all of the questions we suddenly seem to have? Somehow we did it, but it probably took a whole lot more time. Today we can have it all and we can have it immediately. Even the hardest questions can be answered by spending just a few minutes on your devices. Look at you, you're listening to this podcast. You probably have some self-help books in your house right at this moment. And you probably have Googled questions related to a greater sense of meaning. We all have questions, we are all searching more than ever. However, with everything we have gained, I feel we also have lost something. With the 24/7 availability of any and all information, we have lost patience. Patience waiting for answers. Patience thinking about the information. Why? We are only a click away from something better. With the abundance of information available, we have lost the sense of direction. When we think we have what we need, when we begin to run with it, something else comes along, newer, shinier, promising to be better. So we jump ship, and soon again, because something new comes along all the time. We don't read anymore, we scan. looking for keywords, highlights, phrases that sound cool and can be tweeted. We are all over the place, but hardly on a clear path. With the speed at which information can be obtained, we have lost our ability to sit with something and contemplate it before we move forward. John Maxwell says the greatest enemy of good thinking is busyness. We don't arrive because we constantly search. We don't feel satisfied because we know there's more to be had. We don't sit back with what we know and consider it. We don't take time to think. And this, I believe, is the greatest malady that plagues us in this information age. There's always something to do, even during downtime. Waiting in line, sitting on the bus, standing in traffic. What do we all constantly reach for? We feel something is missing when we don't have our devices. But what really is missing is time to think. Yesterday we talked about self-expression. Last week we spoke about purpose and passion. You won't be able to even discover your passion if you don't take time to think, if you constantly just consume, and if you're always busy doing. Information is great. The content you consume, in order to help you become wiser, richer, and happier, is probably changing your life for the better. At least I hope that's happening with my podcast. But it's also never ending. I see it on my podcasts that I subscribe to. They pile up every day, just like my emails. And sometimes I feel stressed out because I'm behind on my podcasts, as if it was my email inbox at work. I look for every opportunity to listen to my podcasts, sometimes with the sole purpose of catching up. I neglect other things that are important to me, such as audiobooks that I also enjoy listening to in the car, just so I can get caught up on my podcast. What's wrong with this picture? Podcasts are my way to learn and improve and become a better person. Why is it becoming a chore? But then there are times I reach the point where it's all too much. When I turn off everything in the car and I simply enjoy the silence. I need the silence. I notice it because I can't pay attention anymore. The talking becomes background noise. And it's in those moments, maybe while I turn my head to the left, where I see the sun's reflection in the water and the Golden Gate Bridge in the distance, engulfed by the morning fog, in those moments when I drop the phone in the cup holder and I tilt my head back, that's when my mind relaxes. And that's when ideas come to my mind. It's in the silence that I can focus and think. I make plans. I get clear on what I need to get done for the day. I have ideas for my podcast episodes. And I get clarity on pending issues. Even the best content can be a distraction away from contemplation. More searching, reading, and investigating will only add marginal benefits. There comes a time when you have to stop clicking, taking notes, signing up for seminars, reading on, and simply tilt your head back and let it sink in. The magic answers are not on page 10 of your Google search results, or yet in another self-help book. The answers are within you. They are your unique answers. You need to allow space for them to grow and expand and come out. And stop stuffing more down, thereby only suffocating your thoughts and ideas. As long as the TV is on, your YouTube streaming and Instagram feeding, your brain is just absorbing. To set in motion the change in your life, to begin the quest for you for a higher purpose, to discover your dreams and start walking in that direction, you need to stop frequently and make time to think. Turn off everything, close everything, and simply be. Sitting with what is, taking it all in, contemplating. Maybe very targeted by bringing to mind that what is important to you, or less so by just asking questions, wondering, and being open to what comes. Take your time back, the time you turned over to your devices. Claim it and make time to think. Purposely put down your phone when you have downtime and see what happens. Turn off the radio, the TV, and go to a quiet place and simply sit with yourself. That is, I think, what we've lost despite having gained so much. The time that is simply space. time to reflect on the previous activity or thought, a space before the next thing starts, space to allow you to consider your next reaction, your next word, your next decision, a moment to recalibrate with your inner self, with who you want to be and with what's important to you. How can you solve problems if you don't allow yourself time to think about them? How can you come up with a new and better way of doing something if you don't allow room for your thoughts to unravel? How can you connect and emphasize with another human being if you don't deliberate your words before you speak and your thoughts before they become judgments? Take time to think today and every day. Much love.